Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. How's everybody today? What the hell's going on? We got a war that makes zero sense. We've got waiting for oil to go up, or we've got the stock market that we don't know what the hell is going on with. Let's check our gold and silver. So silver's 82.50, a 58, and gold is 5,088. Again, it's going nowhere. It makes no sense. You've got wars going on, and yet it's nothing there. Let's check our Bitcoin. It was at 70,000 last night. It's at 60. It's back down to 68. So it went 66, went up to 73 for no reason. Now it's down to 68 for no reason. Just amazing how these markets work. Let's check the stock market. It was down like $1,000 yesterday. And then it comes back because the Fed prints money and puts it in the market. Let's see. It's already down $854 today to 47,000. Is this the beginning of the end? Well, it's already ended. It shouldn't have any value. But we'll see. So we'll get into sports in a little bit. So what you have there, Awas, I'm fine. How are you? Are you safe? I hope you're okay. This whole war is just, what are they thinking in Iran? They thought they would do a regime change, and that would be it. It would take, we'd kill them, and then we'd leave, and it would take an hour to do the regime change, and Iran would then be free. And we basically, this is the whole picture. We're broke. We're trying to get oil and gold and bring it in because that could help us. We're only short 39 trillion with 39 trillion in deficit, and all the government employees we can't afford, and their pensions, and all the Social Security and Medicare we can't afford, and all the defense contractors we can't afford. The defense contractors are running the country because they pay off all the government people. Trump works for the Israelis, as most of Congress and Senate do also. It's a nightmare. We are living in a nightmare in the U.S. Then you have this war is between Israel and Iran, where we're really fighting Russia. We're using Ukraine as the pawn. Here, Israel is really fighting Iran, using us as the pawn. So we're sending our missiles in. We have some Navy ships there and our airplanes. It's doing no good. They have all these underground stuff. We are depleted. We have no more missiles. Maybe another couple days or a week. There's 90 million Iranians. You're not getting rid of them. You killed the leader, but he was a religious leader, so people aren't happy about that. If they have their own crew, that's one thing. If we go in and kill the guy, it's not good. Nobody wants that to happen. Maybe they do, but and then we are hoping that they'll replace him with a guy that's friendly to the U.S. that will allow us to steal the oil. But that's not going to happen. Whoever takes over will not be friendly to the U.S. Who will not just give up the oil. And then, by the way, China and Russia are allies with Iran. Iran is a BRICS country, so they're going to defend the BRICS. So this whole plan was like done by a third grader. The U.S. has to be the stupidest country I've ever seen. They're in a war with Ukraine and Russia for no reason, and there's no reason here. So we get into wars with we took Venezuela. There's nothing there. The oil sucks. It can't be used. It's all forest and dense. There's 30, 40 million people. What are you going to do? So we've got the SEAL Team 8 is there. Like, okay, fine, great. Let me get my coffee. So it's just a freaking nightmare. And it's all because we're broke. We have no money. We can't tax anybody. We can't printing more money makes the money worthless. The only option you have is if you have any gold in Fort Knox to make it worth a hell of a lot more to pay off all this, which obviously we don't have any gold in Fort Knox. Now, speaking of gold, tomorrow is my birthdays. And I'm a 7, and that's why I'm so powerful and such a good handicapper, because I'm kind of psychic, and it's the power of the 7. So yesterday I get 4 ounces of silver. I got these 2. And again, they say, 1 ounce, 999 fine silver. These are bullion. I don't know what that says. And because it's bullion, there's no date. And then I get this one, which is the Buffalo, which again says somewhere the Golden State Mint, and there it says 1 troy ounce, 999 silver. So as long as you got that, you feel pretty good about it. At my guy's store, I feel fine about it. So it was 4. He charged me 85 an ounce, which was fine. The ounces we're going for 82. Normally he's 2 over. He said, no, we're just going to do 85. And I said, okay, doesn't matter. This would be $100. This would be $500 silver. So 85 times 4 is what? One is $340. Fine. I just showed you gold and silver today. So silver is $82.55, which would have been $84.55. So basically $85. I'm fine with that. And then we got gold doing its dance, $50.95. It's been up to $51.20. It just goes, it haven't, I mean, how the hell can you get a price? Look at the 8 o'clock. It goes from $50.95 to $57. It goes down $23, and then it spikes up to $51.30. So it goes up about $60. Then it goes right back down. And now we're at 10 o'clock. We're going to have our 10 o'clock drop probably. back to 50, 70, and then back to 51, and who knows. Anyway, it's it's scrambled eggs, as I like to say. So it's all over the place. Um, I checked the physical silver price with China. Let's see that one. Okay, I left it up. So here's a little bit more. We got China at 94. We're at 82. The China price of 94, still using COMEX as a perimeter. You can see it's 35 minutes ago. I just refreshed it. Yeah. So anyway, so basically 95. That's really what we're looking at. Our 82 is just the paper bullshit. So we know the real price is higher. Again, this is what you get with options. A lot of it is the options for oil. People selling gold to buy oil options because with the Straits of Hormuz closed, the supply of oil will be lessened. How much? I don't know. I think it's just a shift. So India buys 50% of their oil from the Straits of Hormuz. I don't know if it's from Iran or whoever. Again, India is in BRICS, Iran's in BRICS, Russia, China, Brazil. Okay. So with that, I assume what India is doing is buying from Russia, as is China. So they start buying from Russia. And so really the supply doesn't really move. Russia produces more oil, that's all. So we will see. But people are buying, they're just shifting. So you wonder how much Russia's involved with this because now they're making a lot of money by people now buying their oil. So we'll see. The gold and silver is still hotly in demand. It's still, you got to understand wars. What wars do is bankrupt everybody because you've got to buy the missiles and the shells and the I'll just call it ammunition, right? The missiles, the rockets, they're all ammunition. And the people, and you need gas for the boats and the planes. And people get killed, and so you got to replace them. It's unfortunate hearing Trump say, "Well, people die. Oh, well, that's what happens in a war." And it's like, really, dude, you're going there. You're saying a war that's not necessary, so you could have a regime change, so you can get oil because you fucked us over because we are broke. Stock market, as I showed you, is down a little bit. I expect that to collapse real soon. I think this is all George Soros trying to bankrupt the dollar, and he's shorted it, so he'll make a lot of money when the dollar collapses, like he did in Britain in 1990 or 91 when that collapsed, and he made $1 billion shorting it. So the U.S. is just run by just freaking idiots. Scott Simpson, they're listening to Soros. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He's, why are we in so many wars? You can't afford it. They're very expensive. Be at the CIA, and I listen to one CIA guy, thinks that wars get you out of this, that you sell your weapons, and that's how you get out of it, by selling missiles and rockets. You get out of it. It doesn't lower the inflation, which he thought. And it's a very expensive thing, plus all the lives that are lost. So there's no benefit to having a war. They're very, very expensive. Even if you sell the missiles, who can afford it? Who's buying them? If we're buying them we have to print the money to buy it. It doesn't do any good. So it's a very, very bad game they're playing. It's extremely risky, and shouldn't be playing it. Trump shouldn't be playing this game. He's going to lose. He can't win. So the dollar is collapsing. If it's to me, it's already collapsed, but okay, people still think it has a value. Hence, I bought 4 more ounces of silver for my birthday. I might go play poker tomorrow. Haven't decided. I got to feel how lucky I am. I've been watching a lot of poker. We could go there right now. So I'm watching World Poker Tour with Mike Sexton. I don't like the World Series of Poker as much. There's a lot of nobodies in there. And if you want to learn, you want to learn from pros. Just like watching pro football versus high school football. You're not going to learn much watching the high school football. That's what I think the World Series of Poker is. You start looking at the final table in 2022 or 20, and you don't recognize anybody. I know Mike Mizrachi won something one of the years, but basically, do I really care that Joe Blow's in the tournament? And basically everybody plays the same. Sometimes they get aggressive, sometimes it's slow play. We'll see. Stacking Shark. Welcome to our class, Stacking. Stack them up and stack them high. Well, there's the stack. So we're doing it. Yeah, just keep buying as much gold and silver as you can. Now, before for my birthday, I might have bought a quarter ounce or half. Now, he did have 4 ounces, and they were 200 over spot. Spot was 50.55 or something like that, or 50.80. So these would have cost me 52.80. And so let's go to the gold store real quickly and get back to poker. So at the gold store, I asked them, "Are you buying again?" Because everybody when silver went to 120 and then fell back to 72, everybody panicked and sold. Don't know why. They're idiots. And so he wasn't buying. He ran out of money, but now he's got his money again. And he owns 3 stores, so they're doing okay, I guess. And so I go there and, "Are you buying again?" He says, "Yes." Now I think they give you a check, but that's it. You don't need ID. So you don't need a social security number. He's not going to 1099 you. He says he gives you a check, you go to the bank, you cash it in, that's it. So you should be fine there. I don't think I'll have to explain if I sell an ounce of gold for, he's 96%. So if I sell an ounce of gold for 5,100, I'm going to wait till it hits 6,000. I will need to cash one in, but because I'm moving, but probably not for 2 months. So hopefully by then I'll get a 6,000 gold, and I'll cash it in. And I keep my money in my safe. I don't keep it in the bank. So he'll just give you a check, and you walk it over, deposit, take it out of the bank, and off you go. And but again, no 1099 and no social security number. He's not going to 1099 you, so not important. Then I asked for my friend. She's like, "Well, I need ID to cash it." And I asked him, "Do you need ID to cash it?" And he says, "No, as long as you're over 18, you don't need an ID. Just come in, and if it checks out, then go ahead and we'll buy it from you." Or, well, yeah, it's like a 10-ounce bar of silver. So they said, "Yeah, we'll just buy it from you. You don't need an ID, no 1099. You'll get a check, but that's about it." Okay, sounds good. So you got a 10-ounce bar. It's what, 83 now. It'll be back to 90. So it's roughly worth $900, $1,000. Now it'll be worth, at 500, it'll be worth 5,000. So be a nice value. So that was that. So again, no 1099, no ID. They will pay you in a check. So you just go in and sell it. They're fine because they need inventory. So he did have 4 ounces of gold, and it was 2. So it was 52.50, three American ounces, and I don't remember the other one. Maybe it was British. So he had 4 ounces again. So somebody sold some. Again, I know it's going to 10, so I really don't want to sell now, but I might need to sell 1 ounce for my move. So that's what's going on. They will buy it, and they will not 1099 you, and they will give you a check, which you just run to the bank and say, I like to cash it. The bank might hold it for a few days, maybe. I don't know. Usually they do because payroll checks they don't, but these regular checks they do. But that's good. They're still cashing you out, so that's fine. It's 96%. I think it's 90% on non-Eagles. But again, I wouldn't sell my Cougarams or Maple Leafs at this point. I would just sell my Eagles. And then I have like quarter ounce Eagles, and I got about 5 ounces of those, so I could bring in 4 Eagles and maybe sell them for 1 ounce. I'll have to see what I do, but I'm not really looking to sell a lot, just a little when I need to, and that's it. I'm still waiting to hear on the apartment. I don't know why it's taking so long, but I will give them a call later and see, did I get the apartment, or what are we checking, or waiting for this or that or whatever. The fact I've been here 4 years without missing a payment should be all they need, because they're only worried if I make the payment. Anyway, so that's what happened yesterday. So we will see. What else? So again, I might play poker tomorrow, but I haven't decided. So back to poker. Watching the World Poker Tour, which I like with Mike Sexton when he was alive, and he'd really give you some insight to it. I think a lot of poker, you got to defend yourself. When you've got the aces, you got to defend yourself, but you got to know the other person. I think it's critical that if you're playing, what's the other guy going to do? Is he going to call me? Is he going to fold? Can I make a big bet against him? Can I check? Is he going to bet? So some people are aggressive, so I check because I know they're going to bet. And some people aren't. I'll check, they'll check, or they'll call. I think most people try to read people, but don't really understand it. So they'll read people and go, well, he's checking, so I'm going to bet because he's checking. Okay, fine. He checks, if I check, you're going to bet. You Mike Mattisau's, oh, I thought he was weak because he checked. And that's what you got. That's what you get out of it is that your Daniel Negreanos mix it up. They bluff a little bit. They bet when they got a hand. They check when they got a hand. So you really don't know how to read people like that. But I think most people fundamentally, if you check, think you're weak. So if you get a big hand and you check, you can make a lot of money because people will think you're bluff you. And that's what you want if you got a big hand. I think it's crucial to bet. What was I thinking? When you have a hand, you should bet. Like if you got aces or kings, you should bet those. Now, if you get the set of aces or kings, you got to slow play it. You got to be careful. Pairs out. If you got a straight or flush, you got to be careful when you have a set, and then you can't really slow play it if there's like 2 clubs on board. Then the third club comes. Now what do you do? So it's really hard to do it. But I find that there's too much slow playing at the wrong time against the wrong guy. And even though a guy, if you check, will bet on you at points, let's say he's on a flush draw, he's got 4 spades, and you check, he might check because he's actually got the flush draw and wants to see the card for free. Why pay for it? Normally the check raise, get the fuck out. I saw a check raise on the river, but I think it was because the person knew the other guy would bet. Like they had a full house or something and they checked. The other guy made the bet, and then the person went over the top and checked raise. And in that situation, the way she bet it, that's probably the exception to that river check. They don't have anything. And then you bet, and then they come over the top. So I think most of the time uh, it's a bluff, but there's always exceptions to the rules. Just like if you have a pair of aces and the guy checks and you bet, and then he check raises you on the flop, I don't think that's a bluff because, again, if they're reading you for strength, they're not going to bluff you, right? What does Mike Manisow say? I thought he was weak, so I tried bluffing him. But if you're betting, they don't think you're weak. They're going to think you're strong. So nobody's going to check raise you if you're betting because they're going to assume you're going to call. So therefore, the bluff won't work. So if you do get check raise on a flop when you got aces or you're betting aces or kings or queens, and they get they hit the set and they check and then they raise you, you got to be very careful on the check raise because the whole idea of the check raise is I'm going to check. So he doesn't know how strong I am because I won't bluff him because he's strong. So understanding that, understanding the strategy and problem solving the game is the key. So if you problem solve, why do you check raise? Well, I'm really strong. I want to check, so he'll bet. And then I come over the top. That's pretty much the strategy of it. I want him to bet because if I come out and bet $100, he's going to fold. So I don't want him folding. I want him calling. So in that case, I'm going to check raise. I'm going to check to get him to bet, and then I'm going to make what would be my normal bet because he's got a hand. He'll call the raise, but if I bet first, he might not. He might fold, and so that's the theory of the check raise. It's to get you. It's to try to hide that they're strong by making the bet and chasing you away. So by checking, they might think, A, you're weak, or B, you don't want to show your hand, and then they make their bet because they got aces or kings, or they just think you're weak, and then you come over the top. So a lot of it is if there's a lot of checking going on, probably they don't have anything. Maybe on the flop they didn't check raise, but on the turn, if it's check, then you make your bet. They probably don't have anything because what are they waiting for? Because if you have a hand, there's more cards being exposed. So if you have like kings and you check the flop, then the turn comes and you check that, you're allowing some people to catch straights and flushes and stuff like that. So you don't want to give out too many free cards. That's why you bet with a pair of kings or a pair of queens. You come out firing because you don't really want him to call. You want him to fold. You want to win the hand. I got queens before an ace hits. I'm going to bet. Then you've got to watch the strange river bets. Nothing really came out. Two of diamonds comes out, and it's all eights and nines and a five and a king and the two of diamonds. And then the guy bets on it. Now there's no pairs out there. There's really no straight flush draws out there. And they got two of diamonds. But he's betting because it's the only way he can win. So you understand that. But that's all you can do is try to figure that out. If you have a hand, you're going to protect it. So if I bet and somebody calls me, he probably has sevens or eights, and he doesn't know if I got ace king, ace queen, or a pair. So he's going to just call me because he wants to get to the end and see if his eights are any good. So there's that strategy. There's the check raise strategy. All right. So it depends on the opponent. So people can give you tells that don't make sense. They might give you a tell against player A, but play player B differently. So when I play downtown, there's older guys, right? Because I live in Detroit, and there's guys that probably work at Ford and GM, and they're very tight players. They're not going to call you unless they got a good hand, but they're not going to fold. They got a pair of jacks, they're going to hold it, even if an ace is on board, because they got a good hand. So you know when they're calling you, they've got a good hand. So if you have a better hand, you have a set and they got their jacks and they're you bet and they call, you can bet a lot more because you know he's going to call. You got bluffers like the Russian girl. You've got all these different type of players who are going to make different types of bets against different types of people. So be aware. I give an image, right? So I know when they play me, they're going to be very tight because I'm very tricky. In other words, you don't know what I got. I can check. That's what I was thinking about. So just because you got a hand, uh, you might not. You want to bet your cards. What was I going to say? Um, if I get aces or kings, I'm going to bet them most of the time. I don't want to slow play them. Uh, you know, I think people, from what I see, the biggest mistake is they slow play too long. So they got aces and they don't bet the flop. Then they don't bet the turn. Then the river hits and their aces are fucked because by then either the guy can beat you or he can't. You can't bet the river because if you bet it, they're going to fold unless they bet the river as a bluff and then you can call with the aces. But in my mind, I just assume bet the flop. And if they fold, great. I don't have to sweat out the turn in the river. And if they don't, if they do call me, then they're probably on a draw or something. But yeah, don't underplay your aces and king. They're just one pair. With 5 cards out, especially if there's 3 or 4 people, there's no way you're winning with aces with 3 or 4 people in the hand after the whole thing. Probably 70-80% of the time you're going to lose to trips or 2 pair or something. Somebody hits the straight or the flush. There's too many cards out there that can give you a straight. Like with 5 cards out there, probably most of the time you there's a straight draw out there, not necessarily a flush draw, but a straight draw. And then an ace hits on the river, and you got kings, so you want to avoid that. So you need to bet your hands pretty much. So I see that a lot. Too much slow play. There's a point to slow play, and there's a point to protect your hand. And I think I'm going to protect my hand, and I just am happy to win that. Jeez. I'm just as happy to win that. So, I mean, that's the key to it. Happy to win the hand. I don't need it to go all the way to the river. I don't need to make these extra bets. A lot of times on the river, I see a lot of people get bluffed out. So I see a guy with a pair of queens and he checks the river, and then some guy bets $100. He doesn't know what to do. Did the guy really have a set? Did he have this? Did he have that? Even though he didn't bet the rest, because I've seen him before. He's done this and he's had a hand. And so when you get to the bottom line, you want to come out betting and then make them make the decision. But if you slow play it, I did that in a hand once at MGM. I think I had a big pair or maybe even 2 pair, but I was like checking and the guy bet, and I checked and the guy bet. And then it got to the river and I really had no idea what to do with it. It was like, well, does this guy have a hand or not? And that's where I was at. So I wanted to, um, I ended up folding because he made a big bet because I didn't know what he had. I had a good hand, but I didn't really want to call it, but he's probably betting because I was checking. So I noticed if I check and the guy bets, now I'm fucked. But if I bet, he's either going to go out or he might call me. And then if he's not raising me, I probably have him, especially if I had like two pair or something. But you don't know what to put him on. So that's why you're at a big disadvantage when you're just checking. When you're checking and you check and he bets and you call, you're fucked because you don't know what he has. But by you betting, he's either going to raise you, okay, or he's going to call you. Either way, you're in position, or he folds. So the last thing you want to do is check, and then he bets, and now you're lost. Oh, okay. Now what do I do? What do I have? Unless I've got the nuts or a nice full house where, then I check and he bets, and then I'm calling. But, and again, how do you call? You got to be careful. He makes the bet and you call, and aggressively, he knows you got a hand. So you can't give away. You got to kind of keep that poker face going. And don't be afraid to fold a hand. If you got it, you don't have to win every hand. The fold's just as good sometimes, saves you money. All right, so that's poker. Again, that's either tournament or cash games. The difference is the tournament you get blinded out, but in a cash game, you're probably more protective. Again, you don't want to check and the guy bets and you don't know where you're at. And it's okay to fold and watch his bluffing, but watch. And if you want to show you're weak on purpose, then show you're weak. But if you're really weak, you don't want to show it. And, take your time. A lot of them take, even though they have like 2-8, they take 30 seconds or something to fold. They want to make you think that they had a hand and they're debating and they got nothing. The other thing is the all in, takes 2 minutes and then they go all in. That's an immediate fold unless I have the nuts. So people will be sitting there, what do I do? And hell, you know what? I'm going all in. Fold. That's the easiest tell there is. Obviously, they got a good hand. I don't know what they're waiting for. The fact that they take 2 minutes to then finally push all in, like they were I don't even know what it is. It's not like you're deciding. If you go all in, you had a good hand. So, not really sure what that means. But in my mind, if they take 2-3 minutes thinking and then go all in, they have it. Unless I have the nuts, they have me. And it's okay, just fold. I'll wait for a better opportunity when I got the power hand and they don't. And then you'll see them checking. Most people will tell you the way they bet, the expression on their face when they bet, when the card comes out, here comes the turn, here comes the river, and you kind of see their expression. Are they just glass or are they, fuck, I didn't hit it, So that's another thing that you're trying to pick up. And then it all really comes down to the betting. Try that. I'm going to check. Let's see what happens. I got a good hand, but I'm going to check. And let's see if somebody fires at me. And then maybe I check raise them. So you want to do that kind of thing. All right. So we talked about the war a little bit. We shouldn't be in there. We have no chance of winning the Iran war. We're not sure what it's about. It's never been about nukes. They don't have any. Is it about a regime change? We can't control who they have in charge. They got 90 million people. That ain't going to happen. And then it becomes really we're broke and we're after their oil. And we want to put in somebody who will let us have their oil, except for China and Russia won't allow that. So we're really fighting a game with no cards. We have no hope of winning. We don't have enough weapons to last us more than another week. And so you're just looking at what the hell are we doing, boys? So, Anyway, that's the war. We've lost before we started. The communication and the game plan is just horrendous. Trump looks like an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, it's Israelis' war. Oh, and we're helping them. Well, why would we do that? We're the U.S. We don't help people in war. We create the war. We're in charge of the Ukraine war. And all of a sudden, that kind of disappeared, didn't it? Nobody's really talking about Ukraine. Anyway, so let's get to. Let's look at the NBA yesterday. So let's see if we bet against the Z team. Will that work? And again, who knows? We got Orlando 115, Dallas 114. Orlando was 7.5 point favorites. Orlando wins 115, 114. Pretty weak game by Orlando. Cooper Flagg reaches 1,000 points and returned to the lineup. So Cooper Flagg's been out, the guy from Duke, and he's back, and they played a pretty good game. So maybe they're a live dog if this guy plays. I don't know. I don't know who he is. Orlando 33 and 28. So is Dallas 21 and 41, or this guy's been hurt? I don't know. We have Utah beating Washington in a matchup of Z teams. Washington was a 4.5 point favorite at home. Utah wins 122 to 112. What I read out of that is Washington really sucks. To lose to a 19-win team at home, they're pathetic. So I would start betting against Washington as they're terrible. We've got Golden State, Houston, a couple of pretty good teams. Golden State 32-30, Houston 38-23. Golden State was getting 9.5, and they win the game 115-103. We know whatchamacallit's on Golden State still. Houston 38 and 23. Kind of surprised they lost at home. Probably a matchup against I can't think of the guy's name. So Golden State does get the win. Actually, it went into overtime. And so look for Golden State there. I would say Houston's not that strong, and Golden State appears to be a live dog, 32 and 30. Yeah, you probably want to take them as a dog. This is on the road, and they get the W. Miami, 126. The Nets, Brooklyn, 110. Here's a Z team losing. Miami was 12-point favorites, win by 16. Miami, 34-29, a decent team, and Brooklyn is 15 and 47. So we'll put Brooklyn and Washington as two bet against teams, right? Minnesota and Toronto. Minnesota wins 115-107. Minnesota 40 and 23. Toronto 35. So two good teams. Minnesota was laying 4.5 at home. They win by 8, so they get the cover there. Toronto played them pretty competitive. Minnesota probably pretty good with 40 wins. San Antonio plays Detroit. I love San Antonio this game. Wemby gets 38 points and 16 rebounds. They had beaten Detroit in Detroit a few weeks ago, and now they get them in San Antonio, and they win 121-106. I don't know how the Pistons are 45-16. I haven't seen them win a game. They must have played a lot of the East and must have had the easy schedule, because when I see them against better teams, they keep losing. They lost to Cleveland. Now they lost to San Antonio. So San Antonio was only laying 2.5 at home. Probably you won't see that often. And I don't buy that Detroit's this good. So again, probably an easy winner. San Antonio wins by 15, 121-106. Chicago 105, Phoenix 103. Phoenix was a 10.5 point favorite. Phoenix 35-27. The Bulls now 26-37. So the Bulls aren't a bad team. The bad teams are like the Kings. They've won 14 games, right? Or Washington or Brooklyn. These teams have sucked. The team, like here, 26 wins. So Chicago, not terrible, right? Probably an E team. So Chicago's capable of winning as a road dog. Obviously, Phoenix is not that strong to lose to a Chicago. And especially it was 10.5. Phoenix 10.5 point favorites over Chicago. Chicago wins the game straight out. Wow. So keep your eye on Chicago. The Lakers and the Nuggets. The Nuggets 39-24. The Lakers 37-24. Denver laying 3.5 by 7. An impressive win for Denver. LeBron becomes the NBA's all-time leader in career field goals made. Well, who cares? It's a bullshit stat. I'll take Kareem over him all day, every day. Magic, Bird, Isaiah, thank you very much. I hate when they do the argument. Who is the great? Oh, LeBron was the greatest player that ever played. I just saw a video. Tiger Woods was the greatest golfer that ever played. I'm going, Jack Nicklaus was. It's not even close. So you see this stuff, and it's just to get you arguing and to get your blood pressure up. And they do it on purpose. Who's the best? It's a stupid question. Who knows? So you got to kind of ignore that kind of crap. Anyway, so the Nuggets 120-113 cover against LA. Denver, a good team, least at home, and it was a Chiefs spread 3.5. These low home favorites are probably good to bet on. And then we got the Pelicans, I guess, are New Orleans against Sacramento. The Pelicans 20-44, Sacramento 14-50. New Orleans was a 6.5 point favorite. That's how bad Sacramento is, being a home dog to New Orleans. And New Orleans wins 133-123. A tough cover there. I do see it as a high scoring game. The total was 224. A lot of these games, it's hard to judge high scoring, low scoring. But I would say Sacramento has no defense to give up 133 to New Orleans. Chicago was 105-103. San Antonio gives up 106 to the Pistons. Minnesota gives up 107 to Toronto, and Miami gets 126. So again, the Z teams tend to give up the point. The Miami gets 126 against the Nets. Houston and Golden State 115-113, 228. Total was 214. That's a low total, it looks like. And then you got Steph Curry. That's who I couldn't think of. Utah 122 to the Wizards 112 shows you a weak defense there, but the total was 240 and they got 234. So Washington doesn't score but gives up 122. So they're definitely a Z team. Definitely a bet against. And then we got Orlando and Dallas 115-114. Total was 230 and they did 229. So it was pretty close to that. So both teams average there. All right. So we're starting to get the feel of how to bet this. All right. Let's go to May 6th. Let's go to today. Dallas goes to Boston. Dallas 21-40. Now we know Dallas played yesterday and Boston didn't. Boston's a 15.5 point favorite, 224. Jason Tatum with the Achilles could make his season debut. Well, either he is or he isn't. Don't say could unless you know. So we've got Boston 41-21. Clearly the better team against Dallas. Dallas played good with that Cooper Flagg guy, came back in the lineup. So I would say, well, Boston has a really good defense from what I saw, 107. Total 224. Probably go under. And then Dallas, 15.5, I think is probably a big number. I don't think Dallas is that bad with Cooper Flagg back. to give them 15.5. So I wouldn't take Boston, probably an under game. These are not picks. These are just my problem solving. We've got Miami and Charlotte. Charlotte 32-31, Miami 34. So it's about an even game. Charlotte 7.5, 229. Seems like a big number, but I don't know enough about Charlotte and Miami. I think Miami played yesterday. And that's where you really have to do your homework in basketball is who played yesterday. They're going to be tired. It's got to affect them. It's very hard to play one game and then play the next game. And that's assuming everybody plays and nobody sits out because they're tired. Those teams I would bet against the team, the player that, I need to sit out. Oh, well, what are you doing all day that makes you so tired you can't play a half hour of basketball? Right, because it's a 48-minute game. They're probably playing, let's say, 40 minutes. Oh, my God. People working at the grocery stores are there 8 hours, not 40 minutes. So Charlotte, 7.5, 229. Yeah, it's hard to say. How good is Charlotte? How you say I'm coming in blind here. I don't know the teams. Houston and Portland. Houston 38-23. Portland 30-33. Now Houston, we know lost yesterday. Houston 6.5, 219. How good's Portland? They're 30-33. Houston lost. So how are they off of a loss? And it was yesterday. So that's a good question. I don't know. My guess would be take Portland in the game because Houston's playing back to back. And how good are they? But again, don't know enough. New York at Denver. New York's favored by 1.5, 230. I like Denver. New York's got 40 wins, Denver 39. I like Denver because they beat somebody good yesterday. Just because they're the home dog. Now New York, I don't think played yesterday. Denver did, but I would think Denver is. If everybody plays, I would take Denver, and that's the problem: is everybody playing? New Orleans plays at Arizona. We know New Orleans played yesterday. They got 20 wins, Arizona 35, and I believe Arizona lost yesterday. Phoenix is 5.5, 226. I like Phoenix in this game, laying the 5.5. After the loss, they should be good. New Jersey or New Orleans got their win. I can't imagine coming back. San Diego goes to San Antonio. San Antonio 7.5, 222. San Antonio 45-17. San Diego 30-31. And San Antonio just killed the Pistons. They're laying 7.5. I like San Antonio here. And then the Lakers and the Pacers. The Lakers coming off a loss. The Pacers 15-47. The Lakers 9.5. I like this. This would be my 5-star play when I'm into it. You've got them off of a loss at home playing Indiana, who's only won 15 games, a Z team. They're going to lick their chops. So look for LA by 20 here. All right. As far as TV, Fox Detroit, the Spurs are on ESPN. Arizona is on Golf Network. Alt 2, whatever that is the Knicks. KUNP is Houston. FDSS is Charlotte, Miami. And ESPN is – so, again, they're not on TV. Maybe tomorrow. Let's see tomorrow. Are the games on regular TV? Amazon, yes, K-Jazz. There is an ABC game at 8:30, Golden State at Oklahoma. Barry Switzer is going to coach that game. That's your 8:30 game. So you have a game. I don't know if it's the game you want to watch. They're just putting, because it's Oklahoma. There's not a lot on a Saturday, and it's the only one on that you can actually watch. So big problem there. Let's go to NFL and see if there's any news. Tackling the issue of linebackers in free agency. NFL teams looking for an upgrade. That position should be able to find that, as it's a very whatever. I love how the top 10 offensive linemen in free agents and the top 5 defensive back free. They have no idea. Report: Texans give Daniel Hunter 1 year, $40 million extension. Who is this Daniel Hunter? Is he a defensive guy? Yeah, he's a defensive end. That's ridiculous. How do you have money for the other players if you give one guy $40 million, especially a defensive end? I don't buy that. Bears reportedly released Pro Bowl linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who won the DJ Moore trade, grading the Bills-Bears deal. So the Bills needed a receiver. Let's see. What was the trade? DJ Moore trade from the Bears to the Buffalo. It's so exciting. They needed to get the news out there before the trade was finalized. So the Bears got a 2nd-round pick while the Bills got Moore and a 5th-round pick. It's a big move, one that seems to benefit both teams. For the Bills, the excitement is obvious. Josh Allen finally has some more help at receiver. For the Bears, it provides more draft choices. I like how they call it draft capital. I love how they change the names on everything. They got a fucking draft pick, and comes out more targets for the young receiver talent. Head coach Ben Johnson appears to favor. So I thought you needed help for Caleb, and now you're getting rid of DJ Moore, and you got rid of Keenan Allen the year before. Who does he got? He's got the guy from, what was it, Missouri? I don't remember his name. So, and then they got the guy from Washington. 2 average players. But now Caleb, we have an excuse when he sucks this year. We can go, oh, we got rid of DJ Moore. Browns reworking cornerback Deshaun Watson's contract. Why don't they just cut him? Well, why would they give him such a contract that it was like $300 million for a guy who I think was hurt at the time? He's not a good quarterback. I mean, it was just a stupid move. This is why you can't sign these guys to a big contract for 5 years or whatever. Former Green Bay Packer president Bob Harlan dies at 89. Chiefs-Ram trade grades, how each team scored in Trent McDuffie's trade. Well, the Rams they've got Stafford, Pukanuka, the other receiver. I'm surprised KC let Trent McDuffie go because that was a pretty good cornerback. So there must be something else going on there. But they got draft picks. KC needs the wide receiver. They need a running back. They had to get rid of Kelsey. They got to replace him. Their defense is pretty good with Spagnuolo. So, yeah, it's surprising to get rid of a cornerback. And then hope you can draft some more secondary and linebacker help to take his replace. Myles Garrett reportedly cited for driving 94 miles per hour. Who gives a fuck? Longtime Notre Dame coach Lou Holtz dies at 89. Was head coach of Jets for once. Who cares? He was head coach at Notre Dame, right? That's what matters. He was head coach at Arkansas, and he was an assistant to Woody Hayes. Nobody knows that but me. Sorry, he died. Aaron Rodgers says Steelers haven't given quarterback deadline for 26. Yeah, he'll be back. He's got a chance. We'll see what happens. What does DJ Moore trade mean for the Bears? Caleb Williams loses top target after the Bears made big trade. DJ Moore says goodbye. Last year he only had 50 receptions, 6 touchdowns, 85 targets, and 50 receptions. And you want to call Caleb a good quarterback. 682 yards. So you target a guy 85 times and he only catches 50. So where are you throwing the ball? So this is where Caleb, his accuracy is terrible. Network executives believe NFL wants new TV deals in place before start. Whatever. With Frank Reich as offensive coordinator of the Jets, that won't help them. They still suck. Patriot links, free agency, I don't know. Rams discuss trade for wide receiver A.J. Brown of Philadelphia. Well, you got Puka. Do you not keep Devontae Adams, or, what do you need A.J. Brown for? You just picked up McDuffie for a draft pick, so we'll see. Bears reportedly trading, I don't know. Raiders linked to cornerback in free agency. We don't care. Former Commanders center Tyler Blatt signs a 3-year deal. Who cares? Which free agent should the Denver Broncos target? Just leave it to Sean Payton. Three more potential Patriot cap casualties ahead. I'm not going to get into that. Are there more 49er players wanting to get out? Who knows? I hate when they the top 10 offensive linemen. Who gives a shit? All right, so that's that. So we covered poker, we covered NBA, we covered, again, the key with the NBA is these back-to-back games. The team who didn't play has a huge advantage over a team that played Wednesday night or Thursday night, it's now playing Friday. There's got to be a huge edge, especially like the Lakers were on the road and then traveled back to LA. That hurts them a lot because now they're traveling. I think it was San Antonio played them and then have another home game. It's a little easier for them because they play the game and they're at home. We will see. But that's it. So betting, it's the same thing. You have to understand the teams. Normally you would chart it out, but that's in a teaser. I think you can just look at these NBA games, and I don't think you need to do that. I think you have those level of details just fixed on the team. So if I look at Detroit, I should be able to see them as a road dog, home dog, road favorite, home favorite, whatever. And because we're not using teasers, because I think they're 4 points. Now, if we get a bigger teaser, if it helps us, we'll use it. In pro football, college football, the teaser is very helpful. That 6 points takes you from 7 to 1 or 8 down to 2 or 2 up to 8. Those are huge lines. That's how we make all our money is on those. The line drives us to the bet. So you can analyze the game, but then it's the line, and we make our own, like the Super Bowl. I had the Rams or Seattle 7 points over New England, and it was 4. So it was easy. I'll take the 1.5 with Seattle. I locked the 30-unit lock on it. But I'm good at valuing the teams. So everybody had New England overvalued. Drake May, he's an MVP contest. Well, the MVP MVP player didn't look so good against Denver. Didn't look so good against Houston. Didn't really look so good against San Diego. So he played the tougher teams. He really didn't show up. The Houston one was because you had 5 interceptions. Denver, you got 10 points on a bullshit call on a lateral that went forward that the guy pushed it forward, and then the defensive guy pushed it back, and they called it backwards. It was a joke. John Z, good morning. So that was really a joke, but that's understanding that everybody overvalued Drake May, so it was easy to take Seattle. Watching them beat the Rams twice and the Niners twice, there was no way they were losing to New England, who really wasn't that good. They beat Buffalo one time on a fluke, but that was it. So understanding talent allowed me to pick that, but the teaser helped. Did I need the teaser? No, but it was fine. It's you don't always need the 6 points, but you got to bet the game before the game starts, as I always say. My brother is a big dick about that. Well, you didn't need the 6 points. I didn't need it, but I got to bet before. All right, what am I watching here? So I see this. Iran strikes back. Cluster warheads rain down. They're bombing Israel. So it's nice to be in a war where they're not bombing you, right? Nobody's bombing the U.S. They're bombing Israel. They're bombing the Ukraine, but they're not bombing us because we have a nuke, which may or may not even work. We don't know. Let's see. So he's saying that the oil price will skyrocket within days. Again, it's a COMEX thing. It's priced in COMEX. It's gone up a little bit. I don't know. Is the supply of oil really down or it's just shifted? There's still oil in Iran, but now Russia will supply the oil. Did it go down? The U.S. gets 2% of their oil from there. India is the problem and China is the problem. They'll just go to Russia for the oil. So I'm not quite sure that there's really an oil shortage, and it should not affect the U.S. But again, the COMEX is more U.S., so I don't know. It's gone up a little. I showed you yesterday it was like 60 something to 70 something. All right. I know my gas at the pump is 10 or 20 cents more. I'll see Alyssa today. I'll fill up by her. It's always cheaper. We're supposed to get lunch, so I'm waiting. That's why I'm on a little earlier. This guy, I don't know. He doesn't understand inflation. I think we showed this fake people stoic. Fake people always say these 7 phrases. Maybe I will play this again. Let's do that.
7 phrases fake people always use. Not everyone showing you a smile is on your side. Some people have worn their mask so long, they've forgotten there's a face underneath. But their words always betray them. Here are 7 phrases that reveal
Now, this is like poker. They can talk a certain way and they can look a certain way, but the bet is the bet. They can't fake that. So if they bet $100, or I'm playing 1-3, no limit, $300-$400. So that's why I say 100. But no matter what they say or what they do, the bet is the bet. They can't fake that. So if they bet $100, are they bluffing you or they got the hand? And some of the things is what they say, but at the end of the day, what they bet is what they bet. All right, so that's the same thing they're talking about here. They can look a certain way, they can smile at you, but it's the words that really mean what it is.
Fake person immediately. 1. I say it like it is. No, they say it to hurt and hide behind honesty. 2. I just want what's best for you. Watch closely. Whose best are they actually serving? 3. I would never do that to you. Genuine people don't make that promise. They simply don't do it. 4. I hate drama, yet somehow, chaos lives wherever they go. 5. You're being too sensitive. Translation, I refuse to own what I did. 6. I'm loyal to the ones I love. Loyalty announced is loyalty performed, not felt. 7. I'm not like other people. Real ones never say it. They prove it quietly, every single day. Here is what Stoic wisdom teaches us. Character is not what someone claims in a conversation. It is what they do when no one is watching. Trust the pattern, not the words. If this resonates, comment the number that hit you hardest. Most people confuse strength.
So what they're saying, it's the same thing like with gold and silver. I'm telling you it's going to go up. Don't trust me. Watch the price. Oh, gold hit 5,200. Oh, silver's now at, was it 90, 95? So don't even pay attention to me, but look what's happened, right? So, yes, it's gone up. And we know why, because of the inflation. I hate when they keep calling it debasement. I don't understand why they say the currency's debased. You can debase this by taking the silver out of it. Yeah. But you can't take silver out of this. There's no silver or gold in it. You can't debase these. You inflate them, you print them, and it makes them lose their value. It's such a simple concept that nobody can freaking understand what inflation is. It blows my mind. But that's what these idiots, oh, they debase the currency. No, they inflate it. They print more of it, makes it worth nothing, and then the value drops. And so we go into gold and silver because the value of the dollar drops. It's very simple. They keep printing. They're printing more than they got. You have these wars. You have to print a lot of money to pay for the missiles, feed the soldiers, the battleships. They need oil. The airplanes need gas, and they fire the missiles that are $1 million, and then you got to replenish. So the guy does a flight, he sends out 3 or 4 missiles. When he comes back to base, they got to load up 3 or 4 more missiles. That's another $4 million. Oh, we run out. We need to order more. Well, hey, it's going to take you a while, but you're depleting your system. So wars are very expensive, and there's no revenue in a war, right? It's not like you're in a war. Like Hitler at least stole the gold from the central banks and the silver. So he at least, when he did his blitzkrieg to Poland, he took the gold out of the central bank. So he, in effect, made it profitable. But that's not what we're doing. We're just sending out missiles. We're trying to steal the oil, but nobody will let us steal it. Russia and China says no, 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 not in Venezuela, not in Africa, not in Ukraine, and not here, not in Iran. You're not stealing any of the oil. It's amazing how stupid they are, but it shows you how uh, panicking they are. They have to get. We need we need the oil. We need this and that. We're broke. We keep printing money, which we can't print money to pay the debt. And so it's just a matter of time. The stock markets are starting to fall, but they're so high. It's at 49,000. It goes down to 47. It drops $1,000, but you don't. It doesn't mean anything. It's like you're a billionaire and you lose $50,000. It's not meaningful. You have too much. So the stock market's too high, but it is dropping. Dropped 800-900 the other day. Now it's down 1,000. We'll check it. What else do I have here? We watched Mark McGuire or Egon with this $10,000 gold. Let's see if I got. See, I like this guy here. Iran is obliterating the U.S. It just gives you the facts. When you watch a CNBC or a Fox, they're not telling you the truth. The one guy said, we have air superiority. We don't have, that's bullshit. We don't have any air superiority. This is a war for oil. I haven't watched this one. I've marked it. Is U.S. war on Iran for oil? Of course it is. It's to steal the oil. They're using the Hitler playbook, but not as smart as Hitler did. Ground troops, false flags, and weapons as shortage. There will not be ground troops there because we don't have an army to troops. We have very few men to have an army with. So we are relying on our Air Force and our Navy. That's what we become, an Air Force and a Navy Army. We don't have a million guys to go march there and win a ground. You got to win a ground war. You can't, you can't fire because there's all these tunnels. So you fire your missile, it doesn't do any good. And the same thing with the Navy. I mean, they're not even close to it. And there's all these anti-aircraft things that Iran has from Russia and China, and they're actually shooting the boats. So how are you going to win without an army? It's like winning without a ground game in football. So you have this. Again, it's a big deal. People, so this war is absolutely the stupidest thing. That's about all I got on that. Let's see if Mark McGuire's on yet. Oh, here's Mark McGuire. Mark's got this idiot on. Probably not worth watching. Silver Strain Rocks Global Markets with Bill Holter. I hate when he has these guests on.
So like I said, this is no longer Bill Holter.
Yeah, fuck off, Bill Holter. So I'll watch it, but there probably won't be too much to get out of it. Again, we want Mark McGuire to explain the options to us, why it's not going to 100. That's what we want to know. And that's the point. That's the point of watching Mark McGuire. It's information I can't get on my own that I have to listen to somebody. But I trust Mark and I trust Egon. I don't trust even Alice Alligator McLeod. I don't trust. I was listening to Colonel McGregor and he goes, "Oh, I listen to Alligator McLeod," and I just shake my head. And no, you probably don't want to listen to him. Anyway. What else do we got? Let's see. So yeah, we don't hear about the Ukraine war anymore, do we? Everything's about Iraq. Funny how all of a sudden it's like the war's disappeared. Daria, I did finally hear from. She didn't have VPN, so I guess in Russia they changed the VPN on Telegram and WhatsApp you can't use anymore. So we're on Telegram. I didn't hear from her for 4 or 5 days. And then she said, "Oh, okay, I got a new VPN," and she's able to contact me. But she's busy working and things like that. So it's fine. As long as I hear from her and I know she's okay. That's kind of what I want. And I'll see Alyssa for my birthday today. It's hard for her on the weekend. So today we will go get a nice lunch, probably Boneyard, I guess. And then tomorrow we'll see if I go play poker. I might, but we'll see. And then I'd like to hear about my apartment. Did I get it? Let me check now. Maybe they emailed it me. I don't know what's taking so long. They should know right away. Well, we had a nice run in gold, 84.45 and 51.43. So this would be 86.45 at the guy's store. So I got it for 85. and then 51.43. So here, finally at 10 o'clock, we had a nice run, but it looks like it's going down. So this could be a good day. But I wanted to go into my Gmail and see if I got my apartment. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to share with you. On LinkedIn, around 2,500 roles will be affected across some of Morgan Stanley's biggest divisions. So Morgan Stanley is going to lay off 2,500 roles, whatever that means. So that I get on LinkedIn. And that's it. So there you go. The banks are starting to crumble. Morgan Stanley, 2,500 people gone. That's why it's tough. I mean, we're in a recession. It's going to be hard for those people to find new jobs because this is going to happen at every bank. They're all in big trouble because how does a bank work? They loan us money that they print out of thin air, and we're supposed to pay them back interest for a house or a car or something. And then they take that interest that they gain and pay off people in real estate trusts or something. And with that, what do they do for if people stop paying them, right? Then they do attack on Wall Street and they go, well, just delist this or that and pretend we don't have it and fuck the people over. So the bank gets hurt because the bank's not getting money in, and that's how a bank survives, is to loan out the bullshit money that they printed out of thin air and get in 7-8%, and that's their income. That's it. That's how a bank works. So if the bank is not getting the money in because people are losing their job, these 2,500 jobs, they might have loans at the bank or something, and they can't pay it back. So what happens to the bank? Well, that's a lot of 2,500 people not being able to pay it back. So again, that's a problem for the banks, and it's going to carry on because a lot of these banks are idiots and they're shorting gold with these options, mostly at the bullion banks. And Chase is a bullion bank. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Chase, they're the bullion, and then there's one in Deutsche Bank and one in Toronto Dominion, and I think HSBC is one. But anyway, that's what you have is these banks are going to be in trouble, and you got to be careful. Keep your money out of the bank. If you want to take the risk of your bank saying we don't have money or we got to take it out or anything, just be careful. Now, yes, they can keep in mind, if you have $10,000, it's not worth anything. You know, you go to the grocery store, it's $100 to buy 5 things. So it's because the value of the dollars dropped. So you got to be very careful there to understand the dollars dropped in value. If it's in the bank, they're going to close it down and say, well, we're closed. Or as I showed you, they're going to give you 2 cents on the dollar. Oh, you got 10 grand. Here's $500. Thank you very much. So don't trust it. Just keep it at home, put it in a safe, and take it when you need it. And get your gold and silver and put it in a safe. And that's your defense. That's your insurance. But it's also an investment. You're also making money buying silver at 25, and now it's 85, going to 100. Going to 500. So you're also making money on it, but it's really because, as I say, the dollar gets printed, loses value. You can't print gold or silver, so it can't lose its value. Just from that definition, if there's too much of something and you print it, it loses value, aka the dollar, the euro, Swiss franc, whatever. But in other items, if you don't print it, it doesn't lose its value, which is gold and silver. It's what comes out of the ground. There's not a lot out of the ground, and there's much more demand. So if that's the case, then you have something that there is you can't print it, inflate it, or counterfeit it. So therefore, it cannot lose its value. So why do I want to hold something I can lose my value versus something I can't lose my value? And you got 500,000 in the bank or 500,000 in stocks. Sell half of it. Put it into gold and silver. What's your risk? What are you worried about? Gold and silver going down? They can't print it. How can it go down? Well, the price drop. Well, that's because of COMEX, but COMEX is going and China's going to control the price and they want a higher price. They got 80,000 tons of it, as does Russia and as does India and Brazil and Saudi Arabia. They all want the price high, and nobody wants a war except for the US because it's expensive and they don't want to spend on it. China and Russia want business. Putin wants business with everybody. He doesn't want wars. Wars are very destructive and very much inflationary. You need to print a lot of money to have a war. It costs a lot. I guess the only people that want it is the U.S. who's trying to steal the oil, or somebody who wants to, some builder who wants to rebuild. Well, we'll rebuild the Ukraine. And who are you going to sell it to? Nobody wants it. Nobody money in the Ukraine to spend on a new house that you want to sell it to them for $500,000. You're not going to sell one house. So that's a big part of it. So be aware of that. There's just so many wars. I'm scared to travel. I don't know where to travel to. Now, not that I ever traveled to the Middle East, but even Europe has all this problems. France, England, Germany. Thinking of going to Greece. I don't know. Maybe Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, something like that might be a vacation spot. It seems to be more peaceful, but you run into the Chinese, so I don't know if how they are. So it's really tough. Like I said, I'm waiting for meet Daria. I don't care if we'll meet in Russia or meet here. Although I don't know what's happening with the U.S. We're in big fucking trouble. But nobody understands. You've got nobody in charge. Trump is showing his true colors. He's an idiot. You're fired. You're fired. So go fire all these people. And if you don't disagree with, notice how everybody goes, well, this is for Donald Trump, President Trump. We did this for President Trump. And so that's what they did. So if you don't kiss his ass, he fires you. Like that one Christine Noem, who I thought was okay. She got fired. You have people that aren't even elected, these billionaire friends of Trump, who's secretary of whatever. They're not even voted in. You've got the Congress and the Senate totally corrupt, taking bribes from Israel and or the defense contractors. So what the fuck do we have here? This is collapse. The U.S. is totally fucked. We are not using the Constitution. This is a constitutional limited republic. This is not a democracy. This is not a dictatorship, although Trump's doing his best there. This is what it means is whatever the Constitution says is what we're supposed to follow. That's why it's not a democracy. Democracy is, well, if 7 people vote for this and 3 are against it, we go with it because 7-3. But that's not what we are. It's what does the Constitution say? Oh, no central bank. No central bank. Oh, our money can only be gold and silver. That's it. It's not up for discussion. Well, it's so old. It's 1776. We need an update. No, we don't. We don't need an update. It was put in with exactly what's happening now. That's why they didn't want a central bank, because of all these wars and the inflation, and you fuck the money up. Too much power to one guy. Trump does executive orders, doesn't even go to Congress for an act of war. He just does it on his own. Well, that's not a constitutional limited republic. He's not following the Constitution. So you say, well, we need a new Constitution. Well, we're not using the old one. So what's the point if we don't use it? But that's what we are founded on. Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln. Lepetame. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing, is following the Constitution. We always had gold, and all of a sudden the central bank comes in because J.P. Morgan's crying, and now we're fucked, and now we're heavily inflated, and that's why they put in only gold and silver, because they knew if it was dollars, because they saw the Romans and they saw the French and they saw the Spanish, they saw the English and they saw all the shit, and they said, no, you can't. Well, not the English, that came in the 1800s, and again, it was done in 1776. But they knew from the past that paper dollars go to zero, so they were smart enough to do it. Ben Franklin, probably. John C. Hello. So that's what you really have, is we're not using the Constitution. It's not outdated. It's not being used. That's why you don't want gun control. If the military, the only ones with guns, we're all fucked. Then we'll all be goose stepping to the gas chambers. So you don't want that. You've got to be able to protect yourself. You also got to be able to protect your money with gold and silver, not paper. You watch, it's all going to collapse. It's always done it every time, and it's going to be the whole world collapsing. BRICS is smart enough to think ahead of the pack and already go to gold and silver money. It's all the BRICS, the unit, it's gold-backed currency. So they've already understood it, and they've already prepared for it. And we are, again, left not understanding anything. And it's crazy. So that's where we're at. So be very careful. We know inflation's printing money and the value is going down. So how can it end positively? Right? So you got 500,000 in the bank. I would take at least 300,000 out and buy gold and silver with it and put it under the mattress. Because when they close the bank, you're not going to be able to get it. And if it's in the safety deposit box, your gold and silver, you're not going to be able to get it. So understand that. And that's where we're at. So it's pretty bad. What else? So we talk poker, we talk football. Again, it's understanding the teams. And I think that problem solving works for everything. You understand gold and silver, you understand football, basketball, you understand the teams. Basketball is different because there's 5 guys, so one key player is all you need. Where in football, even if you have a good quarterback, you need good receivers, you need a good offensive line, you need the whole team. And so you study that. Baseball, it's the pitcher. And again, most of the players can't hit, so it's ridiculous. What else? Keep an eye on the line. Now, football is once a week, basketball. A lot of teams are playing back to back. The Lakers, San Antonio, Denver, they played yesterday, playing today. So it makes it difficult. So you probably want to stay with teams that aren't playing back to back. Although the Lakers being off of a loss, playing a Utah team, that's a pretty good bet because they're playing a Z team. Just because of their record. They obviously suck. They've only won 15, 16 games. However, I do not buy this tanking thing. There's not enough players in the league that are professionals. There's 30 teams, 32. I don't know. There's 32 in football. I think there's 30 in basketball. But there's not enough players. So they're not tanking. They just suck. They just have bad players because the GM's an idiot and the coach is an idiot, because there's a lot of bad GMs and a lot of bad coaches, because you can't find 32 good ones. There's maybe 5 or 6 in football, 5 or 6 in basketball, hockey, baseball. Maybe there's 2 or 3 good managers. And the GMs, I mean, you're living with guys who can't hit 200 and they're playing Major League Baseball. Yeah, good luck with that. And then I like how they changed it to OPS instead of batting average and home runs and RBIs. It's now OPS, which is just how many times they get on base and the slugging percentage. What does that prove? It doesn't prove anything. If it's a guy who walks a lot, then it's high, but all he does is walk a lot. But he hits 220. I mean, but all his hits are home runs. So he hits a home run or strikes out, And then he gets on base because he walk him a lot, and he's got a high OPS. Well, I don't want him. He doesn't hit 250. John G. TK with World Baseball Classic is on. Who cares? I have no idea. I don't pay attention to that. Don't know. It's just marketing. It's ways to get people to watch. It's about money, just like everything else. But I don't really care. I think it's stupid. You think baseball is the worst it's been? Well, I think most sports are. I think basketball is terrible. I think baseball is terrible. Hockey, there's no players in it. And then football, you basically have a handful, the Mahomes, the Burrow, Stafford, Pukanuka. So you have enough decent players, but the way they do the instant replay and the injuries where you're on a commercial for 5 minutes really kills football. Think of it as a movie. Do you want to keep getting these breaks in the movie? You're at the movie theater. Well, you do 20 minutes of the movie and then there's commercials. And I think that's the problem. I think they moved it on to Paramount and Apple and Amazon. And I think I don't know if they have commercials. I know Tubi and Pluto have commercials, which are a pain in the ass. And then Netflix, you can pay to not have the commercials or get the commercials. I pay not to have them. But when a football game's on, I still get the fucking commercials, which I don't watch. I just watch the clock go down, and then I can get in. The difference was with the Pluto and Tubi, I rewind back about 30 seconds to remember what the hell I'm watching, because they'll have 6, 7 commercials on. And these drug commercials for Lilly and these other, they're like 2-3 minute commercials. You're like, oh, what am I watching? I forget what I'm watching with these stupid commercials. So anyway, I think that's one of the things that, like, good luck going to a movie. I don't even know what you're going to see. But imagine having commercials in the middle of the movie. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway. Well, yeah, baseball is in big trouble. I'd rather buy the DVD. Well, that's what they're pushing you to. They think they're pushing you to Amazon Prime and that, and you're going to watch the commercials, or you're going to pay $25 a month to watch it. And like Netflix, it's the same fucking movies. You have 7 or 8 movies that you watch, but after I watch them once, I don't need to watch them twice. There's nothing else on. I wait for the next month so I can see Batman Begins for the 19th time, or Spider-Man, or these movies that I've already seen. There's no basis. So why do I want Apple Prime and Amazon to get the same movies? Oh, I buy the sports. I don't want to see the games. There's no game that interests me in basketball and or baseball and or hockey. And football I get on the normal networks. I'm not going to pay Christmas Day to watch a game on, Netflix I have, but I'm not paying. If it was on Amazon, I wouldn't pay because it's Christmas Day. I would just turn a movie on Netflix. I mean, that's the problem. They're competing with themselves, and they want to, all this, and then all the ratings are wrong. They have a lot less viewers than they say they do, and they're really screwing the companies because they're charging more for commercials based on how many they have. So it's a real Ponzi scheme that these leagues are doing with the commercials. Second half. There's a disc replay store by me where for like $2 or $3, but it's certain movies, but not good. Although I got my 24 there, my Jack Bauer, they were pretty cheap. Or you can go on eBay and buy them fairly cheap. But that's it. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather do that. No commercials, and off I go. There's secondhand stores also. I mean, there's the dollar store, but the secondhand store. Like I went and bought a pitching wedge because I left my clubs in Alabama, so I got a new pitching wedge. Well, not a new one. It was an old one, but I don't care. I just wanted to swing the club and go to the putting green. It was a nice day out, so I got a putter and I got a wedge, and I missed my regular clubs. They were I had a Cleveland Voss, beautiful red putter, and then I had Hogan Apex fucking clubs that were beautiful. So that's probably the only thing, but I didn't think I'd be able to play. My back was hurting, my feet were hurting, and so it was just too hard to play. And at this stage, I played enough, so I just like to go take a wedge to a putting green and play, or go to a school and hit. That's fine. I was doing that. Yeah, I was up north, and I had my wedge in my putter, and there was range balls just sitting there. So I started hitting the range balls to a green about 120 yards away, and I was popping it right on there with my wedge. I was like, okay, I can still play this game. But I played so much, it doesn't matter. Those drug commercials are horrible. Yeah. Well, and they're all not good for our purposes. We know we don't want to have that. My friend who always argues with me, but then if somebody else, so I told him about gold and silver and he ignores me, and then he has a friend at work who says, "Oh, gold and silver," and now he wants to go buy gold and silver. And then I told him about incremental fasting, right? And he never listened. And then his friend does the fasting, and now he did a fast. So, I don't know how to take that. He doesn't listen to me, but his friend, so he respects the friend more. But since I've already told him that and he ignored me, now he's, oh, yeah, I got a friend. He's just like you. Him I'll listen to. So now he wants to buy gold and silver, and said he did a 2.5 day fast. He says, and then some doctor said about losing muscle mass if you fast. Well, okay, maybe I do. I don't know. I still go to the pool every day, and I still walk if I'm fasting. So I don't know what you mean. You see what I look like? I don't look like I don't have muscle. So I kind of said, I don't know, but it's the autography that matters more in the fast after the 18 hours, and your body gets cleaned up. So that's the benefit of it. Not necessarily you're worried about muscle mass, which, like I said, I go to the pool. It's not a problem. I'm still working. I don't look any different. I lose a little bit of fat, which is fine. Selling Ozempic and horrible stuff for you. Well, that's the the Americans, the government's trying to kill us all. The food's absolutely horrible for us. This high fructose corn syrup is deadly. The yogurt's terrible. The cereals are terrible. The bread's terrible for you. I don't know what to eat anymore. Even the chicken, I think I'm eating healthy. I don't know. The salmon, the steaks, they're like, what do you want me to eat? Even the eggs the chickens are fed improperly. So the eggs, how good are they? I mean, the whole thing is just, they're trying to cut corners and use hormones to get bigger meat, bigger cows, bigger chickens. It's just a whole mind fuck, the whole thing. Chris Angel, the mind freak. That's what it is. It's just the mind freak, the whole thing. So you got to be very careful. But at the end of the day, just drink a lot of water. If you can even trust the water out of the faucet, even the water that is you buy at the store, how healthy is that? That's probably just tap water put into them. They can charge you $2-3 a bottle. So I don't know. They're killing our money. So we can kind of sneak around and we can fast and get some of the poison out of us and eat cayenne pepper and Celtic salt and get minerals back into us and do our fast to get a lot of the bad high fructose corn syrup out of it and eat olive oil. And that's very healthy. Be careful on the eggs and cook it. So we can only do so much stuff that the government's just trying to kill it. These billionaires who are running it, the Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates, they all need to go to jail. They're not. These are strange people. And that's the problem with the IT people. The IT, they're the ones will do AI. We'll do electric vehicles. We'll do this and that. They don't understand shit about the economy or economics. Well, this AI will help. AI is bullshit. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's not worth it. It's not good. Well, if you get AI, you can lay off all your employers. So what? The president of the company just says, "Oh, I can cut my staff with no issues." Well, what if the AI doesn't work? Well, no, it's got to work. It's done by an IT guy. I mean, it's so stupid. I remember we were looking into Power BI at Mercedes, and then they decided it doesn't work, and so they dropped it. And here AI, there's a lot of stories it doesn't work. It's not good. Humans are better. The casinos, well, we want to use AI and get rid of all our staff. I don't know how much longer Vegas will be there. Do you want to go? And if you do, where do you want to stay? I mean, there's nowhere to stay at. The food's too expensive. The drinks are too expensive. So if you go, it drives you off the strip, right? You go off the strip where maybe there's a hotel that doesn't charge the resort fee and the parking and all of that. But again, it's you want to go to Walmart's now and pay for parking, and how would that go over? All of a sudden, Walmart charges you to pay for parking. It's as bad as Sam's Club charging you to shop. I never paid to go to Sam's Club to shop. I never went there. So all of a sudden, they want to charge you to shop. The prices are better. Or you think the prices are better than at Market, at Walmart and Myers? Really? So these are the problems. Would you pay for parking to go to Kroger's? Fuck no. Why would you? So I don't get how Vegas, and they all went along with it, thinking there's all this money to make by charging for parking, because a lot of people drive in from California and need parking at the hotel. So it's really a California thing. I fly in from Detroit. I don't have a car. I cab to the hotel, and that's it. And then I walk around the hotels. I can walk the strip, and that's it. And then I go to this restaurant, go to that restaurant, go watch the game, go play poker. I don't need a car there, and I don't need so I never do that. Now I used to when I was younger, I would bring my golf clubs and we would play golf. So then we rented a car to go to the golf course and back. But that was about it. But now I'm not bringing my golf clubs. I'm not, not doing it. But before it was a vacation. You were there a week and you'd bring your golf clubs, and I'd play some blackjack, and I'd go putt at the DI and chip, and then I'd go play blackjack there, and then I'd go swim. Now, do they charge you to go to the pool? I think some do, or these pool parties. Like, fuck that. I don't want to party. I just want to relax in a pool. So it becomes it's like the IT. They're giving you things you don't want, but they think you want it. Oh, we'll give them AI. We don't want it. We'll give you electric cars. Don't want it. I want gas powered. I like filling up with gas once a week and knowing I'm fine. It says full. I know I'm full. And then it's so all these things that we don't want is what IT brings us. IT brings us stuff we don't want, we don't need. So that's what you have, is people giving you things you don't ask for, AI and all these IT, and they don't explain it. So you don't even know what it is. Why do I want an electric car? I don't want one. Why did you make it? Nobody's asking for it. So you got to be very careful. In Say's law, it's supply, or people with money demand products. You can't make a product there's no demand for and then try to force a demand. Hey, yeah, electric cars. Hey, yeah, AI. Yeah, let's go to AI. There's no demand for it. Nobody's asking for it. Well, it can replace workers. Can it? Is it any good? Does it work? You have no idea. So that's the big problem with it. There's no idea. The money, we want it backed by gold. Nobody asked for money that wasn't backed by gold and silver. They just threw it down our throats. JP Morgan. Hey, let's have money that isn't backed by gold and silver. Isn't that unconstitutional? Who cares about the Constitution? I'm JP Morgan. I'm the biggest scammer in the world. You got Madoff. I don't know what was wrong with Madoff. He seemed to pay everybody until the end when all the banks weren't paying people either. He apparently, all these people that had given him money, he was paying them back until that whole 2008 crisis where the banks, people weren't paying the banks and the banks couldn't pay the everybody. And then everybody needed money. Otherwise, he'd still be doing it, and I don't see the problem with it. If I gave him $100,000 and I'm getting back 15% a year, every year like clockwork, what's the problem? Well, he's not investing it. I don't care. He's giving me 15% every year. What I didn't like was the attorney who came in and then said, "Oh, you made money, you got to give it back." What do you want? You're delusional? What do you mean I got to give it back? That'd be like somebody coming to me, well, you made money at Farmer Jack's in 1980. You got to give the money back. I earned the money. What are you talking about? So you do an investment. Let's say I sell my Mantle card and I get $100,000 for it. Well, let's say I get $80,000 for it. Well, you got to give it back. Why? Well, because it was a Mantle card. You got to give it. Fuck you! I already sold it and got the money. It was a fair deal, fair and square. What are you talking about? So I don't buy the Madoff thing was bad. I know Ponzi schemes are not good, but that's usually you don't get the money for it. So a Ponzi scheme normally is I give you 100 and you promise me 50%, but you don't deliver. So I end up losing money. You're not going to give me back my 100. I get that. But in this case, I don't get it at all. He delivered. He gave you 15%. What's the problem? I don't care how much he makes. I don't care how much a bank makes, as long as the bank pays my interest or anything else. So anyway, be careful of this war. Be careful of these high oil, gas prices going up. Gold and silver will go up dramatically. A lot of it is people are selling their gold and silver options, paper, to get into oil paper. That's all it is. But in the physical world, there's huge demand and there's not enough supply. And that's why I showed you China, because at the end of the day, really that's not even physical, but it's kind of physical because they're still using the COMEX. But it's going to go up because you can't print gold and silver. So therefore the value will not go down. And as the dollar keeps tumbling with all these wars, people will start to realize I got to get out of it. It's not worth anything. I go to the grocery store. Like I said, I paid $4 for a cauliflower head. $4 for a cantaloupe. $4 for things that should be 99 cents. And it ain't they're not raising the price. It's the dollar has no value, so things cost more. I mean, it's as simple as that. You have the dollar, it's not backed by anything. They print it, it loses value. So then the prices go up, which means it takes more dollars to buy it. That's it. And that's what's happening. So the quicker you're out of the banks and out of the dollar and into gold and silver, and just be patient on gold and silver. You can't lose because they can't print it. So the values are going to go through the roof, and you'll just sit and be patient with it. What choice do you have? Staying in dollars that are worthless? Well, I got $100,000. Yeah, but it's worth maybe 1,000, right? It won't buy what it is. Go to the grocery store. It won't buy. The only thing is, hookers are still $100. I don't know. And then what else? You go to Amsterdam, it's still $50, $60 for the girls. All right. So it hasn't caught on there where it's more expensive. But otherwise, I mean, nothing Food's more expensive. Go to the grocery store, go to the restaurants. There's so much more. You have to just go and cook your own stuff 99% of the time. Once in a while, it's my birthday, I'll go out, get some barbecue. But otherwise, that's it. And so that's what you're looking at. So keep that in mind. Anything else? Yeah, a lot of these drugs are unhealthy. I don't even go to a doctor anymore. I don't need to. I took my Celtic salt this morning. I had my olive oil and lemon and drank that. I'll have an avocado when I'm done and my pita bread. And maybe I'll make some tuna and have a salad. Although I'm waiting for Alyssa to go to lunch. So I might just have a little preparing. Otherwise, that's it. I try to eat healthy. I don't eat all these drugs. You go to the doctor now, all he does is prescribe drugs for you that he gets a kickback on that are no good for you anyway. They're trying to poison us all. The elites are out of their fucking minds, as you can see by these wars. Trump, well, people die. It's a war. People die in wars. Oh, well. He said that. I was like, yeah, that's what he is a motherfucker, isn't he? So I don't know. He's not a leader to me. We don't have any more leaders. Congress and the Senate are a joke. You've got people that aren't elected doing. Who ran the plan for this war with Iran? Was there a plan that actually existed saying this is it is? What is our exit strategy? Well, we're going to kill the Iran, the head of the Iran, the Shah, whatever. And everybody will elect somebody else, then we'll put him in. So we'll put the new guy in and he can sell us oil. That was their plan. How do we get out? Oh, we're going to send missiles. They're bombing the shit out of Israel. Israel is totally flattened, although they won't show you that. You know, they won't allow the pictures to come out of Israel being crushed by all these missiles, probably Russian missiles coming out of Iran. Russia loves it because they charge more for their oil and they make more money, and they're going, fine, we don't care about Iran and the U.S., although Iran is in BRICS. So keep that in mind, as is Venezuela and Cuba. So the U.S. is selectively going after the BRICS members because they're broke. And BRICS is all gold back, and they know they're fucked. Now, if it was me, I would join BRICS. So I'd have a meeting with Putin saying, yeah, I want in. Yeah, I know we don't have any gold, but we want to buy some. Can we buy some from you? And that would be it. Anyway, I'm going to have barbecue either today or tomorrow for my birthday. Usually I go to the barbecue on my birthday. I've been there a few times. One lady bought me dinner. I go on my way to poker, so I stop because there's no restaurants at the MGM anymore. They got rid of the buffet. I used to get the buffet and then play poker. They get rid of it. And so now I go to the Boneyard where I get a good meal. And then I drive. It's on the way to the casino. So one lady, she was there with her husband or something, an older lady. And I says, I think I told the waitress it was my birthday. And the lady heard me. And all I know is the lady paid for my meal. It was very nice. So anyway, so I usually go. I like going there for my birthday. It just seems like there's so few good restaurants. So maybe I'll play poker tomorrow night. It depends if I feel lucky or not. Because it's all a feel if I want to play. But I'd rather go buy more. I'd rather take the 300 and buy this than go gamble it at poker and get my aces. Somebody catch a set of sevens on my aces and I lose a lot of money. It's a very much lucky game. There is skill involved in the betting, bluffing somebody out or that. But basically, if I catch a full house, you can't bluff me. You can't do anything. It's all off limits. So that's where the luck comes in, is what hits what hits the flop, what hits the turn. And with that, let's take our last look at gold and silver. So silver's sitting at 84, gold, a little bit of a 10 o'clock drop, but over, so you can see it jumped up to 51.60, and then since then it's down to 51.32, and it's almost noon, and it's dropping a little, but higher than the 50. So again, it's a very thing. Let's take Bitcoin was down to 69,000. Excuse me. And let's look at the stock market. It's down 500 points to 47,000. How that can be, I don't know, but that's a joke. It shouldn't even be 20,000. Should be much less. And that's it. So 84, 51, 32. Just be patient. Silver will hit 500. Gold will go to 8,000 to 10,000. It's just a matter of time. Nothing can stop it because right now it's paper, but they keep printing the money. And now for the war, they need to print even more money to pay the military complex to make missiles and, help on the ships and the planes and the fuel. They got to pay for all that, which is a big cost. And so the dollar loses more and more value because we got to print it. Oh, but we're the reserve currency. We can print as much as we want. No, you cannot. You still can't do that. You can print it, but it won't have any value. And that's where we're at now with no value. And so the dollar's gone, and gold and silver have to go up. You can't print gold and silver. They have to go up now. The dollar keeps losing. Now, it's not a correlation 1-to-1. The dollar loses, so gold goes up. It's gold and silver are going up right now because of options, not free market. The dollar's going down. Again, nobody values the dollar, so we don't even know what it's really worth. But go to the grocery store and pay $5 for a cantaloupe, and you'll realize it's not worth anything. All right. I think that's about it. So having a wonderful day. My birthday's tomorrow. And like I said, I'm trying to meet Alyssa soon. I don't know. Who knows with her? You never know. You can't get frustrated. Like Daria, I didn't hear for a few days, but she didn't have a VPN because Russia's being picky with Telegram and WhatsApp. So she needed money to get a new VPN. Okay, well, it's not her fault. But I don't get mad. You can't get mad like, where are you? Or what? Why didn't you text me or that? You can't do that. You just let it go. It is what it is with Alyssa. I'm sure I'll hear from her, and she'll want me to pick her up, and we'll hopefully have time for lunch. But if I don't, I don't. I'll go to the barbecue tomorrow, and I'm fine. Do I think they want depopulation? Yeah, I think they think there's too many people in the world. They can't control us. Again, these are the idiots, and these are the Zuckerbergs and Gates who have no clue what they're doing or talking about, giving us electric cars and AI when we didn't ask for it. There's no value in AI. It's absolutely the dumbest thing in the world. Just like an electric car is the dumbest thing in the world, but they give it to you even though you don't want it. So are they trying to depopulate? I think it seems like it with what they're doing with the high fructose corn syrup, for example. That gives you diabetes, unless their plan is to make money on the diabetes medicine. You eat a lot of high fructose corn syrup, your sugar goes up, your blood pressure goes up. Take this medicine and that, which then increases value. So it's partly that, and partly that you will die from the high fructose corn syrup, the high blood pressure, the high sugar. So yeah, it's a combination of the two. And but we have. So I think they just look at how they can make money off of us. I think that's the bottom line. especially in the U.S. because we're wealthy. In certain countries, they're not. So I don't think they think that. Russia is not a very the elite have money, but like Daria, she doesn't have any money. So the people probably don't. Here, the people do. There's a lot more finance and IT people who make decent money who would do that. But if you understand anything, you understand fasting, you understand Celtic salt, cayenne pepper, you understand cooking eggs and eating protein and staying away from high fructose corn syrup. So you understand all that, and you're pretty much fine. So I think that's about it. So I'm going to eat. I'm going to give Alyssa a call going, where the fuck are you? It's almost 12. So we'll see. Anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow on my birthdays. And I wants it, my birthday present, 4 lovely ounces of silver. I kidded with the guy. I go, before on my birthday, I'd spend 300, I'd get 10 ounces. And now this was 350 for 4 ounces. So that's kind of how you understand the value of silver going up. Now I don't income average. This is not the thing you're income averaging. I hate when people do, well, if it goes down to 75, you can buy it and then you really paid 80. No, that's a stock, not gold. Gold you're accumulating. You're getting as much as you can. You're not trying to income average it and buy some at 80 and buy some at 75. No, that's not what you're doing. You're just trying to get more and more and more and hold it and watch the price go up. And it'll get back to 100. Again, there's no reason it's at 80. We were at 90. Why did it drop $10? Oh, the dollar got stronger. How can the dollar get stronger? The dollar has no value. Well, it got stronger versus the other crap currencies. Oh, okay. So anyway, be careful. Be ready to move. I don't know about food shortages. Because my feeling is Kroger's and Meijer's and Target and grocery stores will have contingencies because that's how they make money to get food from another source, be it Mexico, Brazil, or Argentina, or whatever. So I don't think that they're going to not have any food for us at the grocery store. And what else are we going to do? Go buy some land and plant some tomatoes? I mean, we're not farmer. I'm not a farmer. I wouldn't know what to do. So that's the point. So I do buy frozen vegetables and shove them in the freezer if it gets to that. And I got a lot of chicken in the freezer if it gets to that. But that only lasts me so long. And depending that the electricity works, so I can store it in the fridge and cook it and eat it. If you lose power, you're fucked because then the fridge doesn't work. So even if you cook up all the chicken, you can't put it in the fridge to keep it fresh. So that's the thing you gotta realize. So as long as we have the electricity and the fridge works, you're fine for a while. But that's it. So just have your gold and silver, and eventually we'll be going to Kroger's with an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver, and you'll be fine. And that's really the only option you have anyway. Well, you got to get out of dollars. It's a very simple premise. So you go into gold and silver, and that's it. I mean, it's very, very obvious what you do. You have no choice. So, all right, stay in dollars. If they're not worth anything, so why would you stay in it? So your choice is staying in dollars, staying in the stock market, keeping your money in the bank, or getting the fuck out. Buying gold and silver, buy a safe, keep it out of the banking system, keeping out of the government system where they're going to just close up and keep your money, and just do it on your own, just like you would anything else. You own a Rolex watch. What do you do with it? You don't hold it in the bank. You maybe have a safe at home. You keep it in. It's the same thing with your gold and silver. It's just, you got a mantle card. It's the same thing. You keep it in a safe place. All right. I think that's it. I'm hungry. Have a good day. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. I'll decide on poker tomorrow night and my barbecue. If I don't get it with Alyssa now, I'm getting it by myself tomorrow. And that's about it. All right. So have a good day. www.teaserking.com, and be careful of these scams with these Apple Card or whatever these cards are. If somebody asks you for money and send it on an Apple Card or these other cards, don't do it. It's almost always a scam if you don't know the person. If you know the person, you're going to PayPal. Like Jenna and Daria, even Alyssa, I never card them. I always pay. Like Daria needed money for the VPN. It was $20. I PayPal'd her, but I know her. And the same thing with Alyssa, and the same thing with Jenna. If she needed money for a bus from Odessa to Berlin, I PayPal her the money. But these people you don't meet, you cannot give them money. It's a scam, no matter what they say. Just be careful. Say, hey, no, I need to meet the person first. And if they don't want to meet, then it's a bullshit thing anyway. So just be careful with that bullshit. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. And go gold, go silver. I got to watch Mark McGuire with the Cowboy, but it'd probably be a waste of time, but we'll see. Thanks for watching.